In this video, we're going to have a look at the new fixtures released for game week 22, the double game week now it is. We're going to look at chip strategy, what to do over the rest of the season. We're going to possibly look at if it's a good idea to free hit in game week 22 and what that side will look like. So lots to get in, guys. Let's take a look. Hi fantasy managers, welcome to FPL Team Talks. So loads to go through in this video, lots of good stuff for you to look at. We'll have a look at long-term strategy for chips, the use of those, free hits, when to use them, is it a good idea to use them, the plans after that, why we should or shouldn't use them now, when in the future potentially could we look at it. So loads to go through, let's jump into it. Remember guys, if you're new around here or you just enjoy FPL content, click on that subscribe button, hit the like, any comments will get back to you. In the meantime, let's get on with it. On screen we have the confirmation of the fixtures for game week 22. There are 4 extra fixtures added on, making it a double game week. 8 teams have 2 matches in game week 22. There are of course Burnley, Watford as you'll see on the screen, Brighton, Chelsea, Leicester, Spurs, Brentford, Manchester United. It's not as big a game week as we hoped it would be, and I will add the caveat that because of any FA Cup games taking place this weekend, if they are postponed for any reason, that will take precedence over rearranged fixtures in this game week 22. So for instance, if Brighton's game gets called off, the rearranged fixture for the FA Cup third round will replace potentially the game week 22 fixture which they have with Chelsea. So there's no guarantee that these teams will definitely double game week in 22. So always wait until the last minute before hitting a trigger on that button. I think in these recent weeks we've learned that that's got to be the case. Hold on until the last possible minute, get that team news. And even I think there's a worry that the deadline being on the Friday, that even the games the following Wednesday could be affected, but we won't be able to react in time. Okay, why free hit then at this moment in time? There's pros and cons as to why we should do it. Definitely there's points potential. Some of these teams have got lots of differentials in them, perhaps holding assets that we wouldn't normally have. But on the other side of the coin, there are assets that I don't think we'd want to hold, as we'll see later on, beyond this game week. So Watford may have double game week, Brighton, the likes of Leicester, Spurs, but some of the games they have after game week 22 aren't particularly appealing. So I don't think you'd want to hold these assets for any longer than 1 week. Hence a free hit would just be absolutely ideal. Any period of time to do it. If you have 2 free hits, maybe later on down the line there will definitely be double game weeks come up. They might be a better time. But will there be as many differentials? Will you definitely need to free hit to get the double game weeks with other teams? Very difficult to know. But if you've got 2 free hits, could be, depending on the makeup of your side, a good opportunity to get extra points. So let's have a look at those teams that do have double game fixtures. Some of them much more appealing than others. The likes of Watford do have some really nice fixtures. Newcastle and Burnley. The likes of Brentford really don't have very appealing fixtures at all. Away at Liverpool, away at Manchester United don't look too good. Tottenham's look fine. Chelsea away at Man City obviously is a game you probably want to avoid. And then away at Brighton is going to be tricky for them as well. Brighton themselves then obviously have the Chelsea match. But they are at home to Crystal Palace as well. So there is a potential for clean sheets there. Burnley, so do you want to go to Burnley? You've got Leicester, Watford, both home games. They'll be desperate for the points. And then lots of Leicester, Burnley at home again, and Tottenham at home. So Burnley away, that doesn't look too bad either. Man United do have a tricky Villa away game. Then there's quite a nice looking Brentford home game. So possibly ones to target for Manchester United. So the other thing we talked about was that Manchester City have a difficult game in this week against Chelsea. But you wouldn't want to lose those Man City assets. You wouldn't want to come off those Man City assets to get onto Watford assets or Tottenham assets, simply because Manchester City have some great fixtures coming up after game week 22. Southampton away, Brentford and Norwich at home. It doesn't get a lot better than that for Man City. So for free hit again, you avoid the Chelsea game, and then you come back to your Manchester City side that is fully primed, ready for Southampton, Brentford, Norwich. That just seems absolutely ideal. Or can you get enough double week assets to just put your Manchester City players on the bench? No doubt we've all got players in that Manchester City lineup. So that Chelsea game, very difficult. One of the most hardest fixtures you would think that they've got. Not saying that they can't get points against Chelsea. Of course they can. They won away at Chelsea earlier on the season. But is the game you probably want to target? I'd probably say no. So going back to those fixtures, Who have they got beyond that? Looking across the bottom of the screen, game week 23, there's not many assets that you think, well, I want to keep them beyond this game fixture. Brentford, obviously, they got hard games, then followed by Wolves. Leicester away at home to Brighton. That's not going to be an easy game. Tottenham go to Chelsea. Even Man U at home to West Ham. That's not an easy game. The only one on here you'd probably say is you'd want to keep is your Watford assets. If you've got lots of Josh King and Dennis, he's got 3 great fixtures. Not only Newcastle and Burnley away, but then he follows up by Norwich at home. But again, the point I think of this is, if you're going to transfer these players in to take advantage of the double game week, I don't think there's many players that you want to keep beyond it. So again, that just kind of plays into the free hit sort of hand again. On the other hand, there will be other double game weeks. I'm absolutely sure of that. Teams not the best to target. You could say that some of these teams are not ideal, but you could on the other side argue there's a lot of differentials in those sides, and also the budget wise you can pretty much afford anyone you want, because these double hit teams just don't have many expensive assets in. Right, we'll come to the other chip strategy in a minute, but let's have a look at this free hit side. First of all, I'm not saying it's a non-negotiable. De Gea 5.2, Villa away, Brentford at home. I think those are 2 decent fixtures. Man United have been a lot tighter recently, so I think he's a good shout to go and goal. He's nailed on that Manchester United team. He's pretty good for bonus save points as well. I like De Gea. You certainly wouldn't blame me though if you went for someone like Sanchez. There's a possibility maybe of Pope if he's fit for good points as well. But for me, De Gea gets the nod. In defence, I think Rudiger and Alonso offering a little bit of attacking threat for me. I think it's a really tricky game going to Manchester City, especially in the form they're in. But you know what? Chelsea kept clean sheets famously in the Champions League final. And then you've got the away game at Brighton. So there is a double chance of them getting clean sheets. No, you're never going to be convinced with 2 game weeks on a double game week that players like Alonso play both games. Even Rudiger, you'd say, is pretty much the most nailed on centre-back. You just don't know. I think Rudiger's got the best chance of playing both games. Alonso, maybe you'll get 1.5 games. Possibly. You'd hope he is targeted for that Brighton game. But I like the fact you've got 2 Chelsea defenders in there. You know what? You couldn't put it past Chelsea to get 2 clean sheets. Then you have Cucurella. Think is probably, again, one of the highest likely players to play twice. You'd hope that they get a clean sheet against Palace. Anything against Chelsea is a bonus. And the same would go, obviously, with Lamptey. He offers great attacking returns. I'm not quite as convinced he'll play both games, having been off injured for so long. Reguilon, I think I really like him. Arsenal and Leicester look like 2 decent fixtures. Tottenham wobbling a little bit, but under Conte, still much better than they used to be. And Reguilon, I think, is a good option. Still has attacking potential as well. Moving into midfield, Trossard again. I think pick of the bunch for Brighton, and given their fixture at home to Palace, I think I'd like to target him. Mason Mount, pretty much nailed in that Chelsea team. One of the few that I could trust will play both games. Lookman as well. He's an interesting one. Real differential, not very expensive. If you're not even looking to wildcard, you could, or free hit rather, you could bring him in. 6 million. Vardy out for, is it until March time? Daka unavailable. Inacio away on duty with Nigeria. Who else is going to play up front other than Lookman? He looks like about the only man left there up front that can play. I like him as a midfielder, 6 million, playing up front for Leicester, very creative. Away at Norwich, home to Tottenham, I think he looks like a really good option. Behind him, obviously, got Maddison as well. And then you have Lucas Moura with Son out. I think he's definitely the next go-to player. Good price as well. Double game week, makes total sense to me. With all those assets in midfield, really gives you a lot of money to play with up front, and you can enjoy yourself. You've got Ronaldo, especially that Brentford away game, that looks good. He's on penalties as well now as well. Kane, main man again, Pens, looking good. He's had a rest in midweek last week as well. So Arsenal and followed by Leicester, that looks like a good set of fixtures. And I think the fixtures are just brilliant for Dennis. If you want to go Josh King, couldn't argue with that. He's on Pens. Dennis just shades it for me. I think he's the form player for you. Value of this side, only 99.2, so you have got flexibility if you fancy the likes of bringing in someone like Bruno Fernandes. Just a bit of a risk. I'm not sure quite how he fits into this Manchester United side or how nailed he is. Dropped for the last game. Again, you could look at other midfield options. You could fancy a Greenwood who started the last couple. That could be an option. You could double up if you want to. Drop someone like Ronaldo, Kane and go for King, Josh King up front. So there's lots of options there. Right, looking at further chip strategy, chip or captain, don't think it's really an option for me. There's no standout players. If you really wanted to, you could go perhaps Dennis, someone like that, or even a Kane. For me, there's rumours talking about Liverpool having a double game week in 27. The rumour is that it could possibly be Leeds at home at Norwich away, and that just looks absolutely prime for Salah. I think every man and his dog will go for it, but I still think it's the obvious, sensible choice. For me, wildcard, looking at the fixture swings, Chelsea's fixtures do look quite nice from 26 onwards, so that would be the obvious point at the moment. I'm certainly not penciling it in, but at the moment, possibility of a wildcard in 26, that would be when I play it. And then you have the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. There'll be a lot of teams blanking in there. If they're the main teams like your Cities, your Tottenhams, your Manchester Uniteds, your Chelseas, then possibility of hitting a free hit for those to come back to your team afterwards, where hopefully those sides will get double game weeks further down the line as well. So I think at the moment though, you just have to stay as flexible as you possibly can. Those are my thoughts at the moment, guys. That's it for this one, guys. Well done if you made it all the way to the end. Tell me what you're thinking. Let me know. Are you going to free hit? Who are you going to bring? If not, when are you going to free hit? Any comments? Don't forget to click that subscribe button, hit the like, and hopefully, good luck. Speak to you soon.